And this is Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Slick.
And we are broadcasting on this, the 19th of February, 2011, the Tech Talk Radio Show, where we talk about computers, technology, and, of course, the Internet. And, Slick, good to see you over there. You're a little dark in there. You might want to, pitch up the light a little.
Excuse me, what do you mean by a little dark? Excuse me?
Yeah, we need to get you a movie light or something. It's hard to see you.
Yeah, there's that big the big lamp bulb that you've got.
Yeah, I think that would probably work out pretty well. I would like that.
All right, just for you. Tell you what I'm going to do, because I am sitting under a little thing.
There it goes.
There
goes Slick.
All right. I've turned on the light just above the table I'm sitting at. There. Right. How's that lighting? It just went out on its own. That ain't good.
Yeah, that's probably not good at all. As long as you don't lose your power, that's good. All right, we say we talk about the Internet, and it's good we do. Actually, on the phone line with us, we have with us Danial Sagis, who is the CEO of a company. It's called AnybodyOutThere.com, and we're going to talk to him on the line. Daniel, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, welcome.
Now, tell us a little bit about AnybodyOutThere.com. What is this website all about?
Well, AnybodyOutThere.com is a new conversation platform that helps you find like-minded people to talk with. It's basically a search engine for people to chat with.
So basically,
tell us what you want to talk about, and we analyze it and find you the most relevant people we have in the system right now.
Okay, so if somebody wants to get on there and talk about how to fix a car, they don't have to go to endless chat rooms and forums. They can come here and actually post exactly what they want to talk about.
Exactly. Our vision is to shorten the time you spend on the Internet, frustrated trying to find the right forum, the right people to speak with. We try to do it for you.
Now, is there room for this type of site out there? I mean, we have so many different ways that people communicate on the web now with Facebook and Twitter, and then there are some forums out there specific to maybe what someone's doing. How is this different from some of those that are already out there?
Look, that's a great question. Facebook and Twitter are social networks. Anybody out there is exactly the opposite. We connect you with people outside of your circle of friends. While Facebook and Twitter are great platforms, to connect you with friends, to stay in touch, to ask them questions, we connect you with people that are not in your circle of friends.
Now, how is the process?
Connect you with anyone.
Daniel, how is the process for getting an account on Anybody Out There? Is there, number one, a cost involved? And number two, how do you know somebody's going to get in there and they're not going to start spamming people when they come to the room?
I see. First of all, it's completely free, and you don't even have to sign up. You just have to post and tell us what you want to talk about. Mm-hmm. And then we give you a result page full of people you can just talk to in a click of a button. Now we have to handle abuse. One of the ways we handle abuse is that we have algorithms that try to find those people that talk about dating, talk about sex, just talk about general things we call small talk,
right,
and isolate them. So basically, if you go now on Anybody Out There and you talk about sex, you'll be isolated in a zone, and you only see people like you that want to talk about sex.
Right.
And all the rest of the crowd won't see you.
And do you look at this as a way that people can communicate? Now, they're not going to be doing this face-to-face. There are no webcams allowed here, correct?
No. We believe in text, and, the chat is one-on-one on text, and you have also a discussion platform that right now is not real-time, but it will be, soon enough it will be real-time. Now it's like a commenting board.
Right. Okay. So basically, they using their algorithm, they break it down into where you should be talking, and then you kind of connect the people up that are in the like you said, like-minded people.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. You post that you want to talk about Egypt, for example, about what's happening in Egypt.
Yeah.
And you'll get a result page full of people that want to talk about the same thing. And every people that you see have a Let's Talk button beside him, and you can click it and start talking with him.
Now, how will
also enter a public discussion about it?
Okay, so public discussions as well. Now, any of that, will that be saved? So if somebody wants to go back and kind of read what people have been talking about, is that going to be something that will be available on the site?
Yeah, it's completely available. You can see all the, all the things that people want to talk about. You can filter it by country. You can filter it by all kind of factors. You can even, when you're posting, we give your post topics. So we have topic pages. So you can go to the topic Egypt and see all the people who want to talk about Egypt, or go to the topic iPhone and see all the people who want to talk about iPhone.
Now, how is the advertising community going to be a part of this? Because obviously, you have to find some way to monetize it to make it worthwhile for you, number one, and for the investors.
I have to say that first of all, we just launched a month ago. We are not into thinking how to make money out of it. First of all, we want to maximize the experience and make it the best place to be in. Build our traffic because, we need to reach critical mass. If you want to talk about a specific thing, we need to make sure that we have enough people so you'll find people that want to talk about it. And afterwards, we'll think of a way to monetize it.
There you go. Now, is there an age range for this?
You can't be under 13.
Right.
But basically, we see users from 13 to 100.
Right. And have you noticed that?
Also, by the way, use anybody out there from your instant messenger. You can connect us to your instant messenger and have the whole experience without even going to the website.
Oh, so that will enable people then on a mobile platform to be able to utilize this?
Soon we'll connect it to mobile platform also. Right now, our main integrations are with all the instant messengers out there. So you can just connect it to whatever instant messenger you're using and start speaking with people through your instant messenger.
Now, Daniel, one of the things I always find interesting, especially when we get to talk to somebody like yourself, that a CEO of a company that people are using and communicating with, have you noticed, like, maybe the age range of some of these people are increasing, that as older people are becoming more comfortable with their computer, they're being a little more bolder and going out and participating in stuff like this?
Sure. We have a lot of 50-plus users. First of all, the average age on our system is 31 right now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we see a lot of older people that are using the platform.
Yeah, my wife was actually talking to me about the fact that she wants to go on and talk to others about sewing because it's a great way to get information on great patterns. And so, I mean, you have so many different areas that you can cover. What seems to be the hot topic? I mean, I know you just launched, but is discussions about the political situation in Egypt the hot topic right now, or is it just general?
So right now, hot topics are stuff like, political issues, current affair stuff, stuff that's happening right now and a lot of people want to talk about.
Yeah.
We have a lot of talks about tech, a lot of talks about relationships, and that's most of the talks right now.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about religion, I saw lately. I don't know why, but...
Yeah. Oh, boy, I always stay away from that subject.
A lot of talks about religion. But, we have everything from everything right now.
And it is...
I'll tell you one thing that is...
It is absolutely available right now. People can go online. They can actually log in and take a look at that right now, correct?
They can do it, yeah.
Very good.
I invite them to do it. We are still retuning the system, working on a lot of things, but they can try it, and I'm sure they'll have a great time with it.
Great. Daniel, thanks so much for coming on and telling us a little bit about anybody out there, okay?
Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Very cool. Always neat to find a new site that is doing stuff,
Mm-hmm. It sounds. Actually, I checked it out a little bit yesterday because I kind of knew it was coming up.
Yeah.
So I went to it, and I'm glad he explained that about the message board type of a service at this time, because I wasn't sure what to expect, and I did get on there and I searched for a word and I looked around. I went, okay, this is neat. I wasn't sure if I should expect video or live experience or what it was. So now I know that I was in the right place.
Good deal. So it worked out well. I don't know why. We had this happen last week during our show where your camera just absolutely locks up. And it looks fine on Skype. So I know it's not Skype. It's got to be something with Wirecast. Because as soon as it comes over into the... however, the only thing we've changed... This could be it. I might have to open a port because we did install reinstall ESET on here. And I bet you that has something to do with it, that maybe there's a port that needs to be enabled.
Oh, so it is you.
It very well could be me. I don't know. It's one of those things that makes you wonder, okay, well, maybe it's, let me take a look and see if we have our firewall enabled on this. We have a hardware firewall. So generally we don't.
I'm saying it because I just don't want to have a complex anymore. That's all.
You've been getting a complex that maybe it was your situation. Well, see, I would think your video over here actually looks better. And that's probably because you're using a MiFi.
Actually, I'm not using a MiFi right now.
What?
I'm not using a MiFi right now.
Hold on. Why are you not using the MiFi?
I'm not using the MiFi at this moment in time.
Uh-huh.
There's a reason for it. When we get deep into it, I'll explain why.
All right. Can we find out now? Because I want to find out.
Okay. Let me open up all of my notes.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Slick will now share with us why he is not using the MiFi on the show.
Let me give some details about the MiFi. Now, how long? We've had this for what, 2 weeks now, I think?
It's been about 2 weeks.
Okay. Did you get a chance to use it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I loved it.
All right. Let's start with you.
Okay.
Why don't you lay out your experiences, and then I'll follow up behind you with mine.
Well, I think I talked a little bit about it, is the fact that I was in Tombstone, Arizona. I was using Sprint off an Android phone that, I could share a connection to try and connect for my laptop, and the experience was less than pleasurable. Now, not knocking the Droid device, but just the amount of time it took for the device to operate. It just, even in Tombstone, which is probably a good 100 miles to the east of Tucson, Arizona, a large city, it's still just, Sprint does not have great coverage in that area. So I had been coming back at nights rather than staying in the motel room, and because it was only an hour and a half drive or whatever. So one of the days I got here, my friends at Novatel had sent me that MiFi powered by AT&T. So I thought, well, maybe I can give this a try and give this a shot. So I went ahead and took it with me back to Tombstone the next morning, and as soon as we finished shooting, I went back to the room, hooked it all up, and it was, wow, this is great. I had, number one, and no problem connecting. Had a really good experience with Facebook. It was very fast. The only thing I didn't try video streaming. Now, it would have been pretty cool, but I was able to upload photos and do pretty much everything I would do with a laptop and a mobile device. So I was sold on that. Could be, number one, AT&T has great coverage out there. And number two, the MiFi is a pretty sturdy little unit. I like it because it's small, fits in the pocket, can charge easily off the USB or even off a power cord. And I got a lot of charge out of that thing. When I'm not using it, it goes to sleep. And you can actually go in and set the parameters for how long you want that to sleep. If you want it to sleep for after 5 minutes of non-use or 10 minutes of non-use. But it was able to give me, I remember, I think I had 2 days without even plugging it in. I was able to use the unit and didn't have a problem with it. So, no, was very pleased with it.
Okay. All right. My experience was similar. Let me pull up my note here. Now, we are talking about, for those of you who'd like to follow along at home, we're talking about the AT&T MiFi 2372. And I'm looking at the playback. I'm still frozen. I'll be darned.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I'm holding it up so everybody can see it. See it, everybody? Oh, you can't see it because I'm frozen.
I'm working as you're speaking, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, right. So it's a little bit. Think of it as a similar size as a business card holder. I mean, really, fits right in the palm of my hand. It's not too thick. It fits in your shirt pocket, fits in your pants pocket, whatever. It's about the size of just a hard case business card holder.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Let's see what else. You could connect. It says in there the publicity paperwork. It says you connect to the internet on the nation's fastest mobile broadband network from AT&T. So I have no reason to dispute that. Especially based on my experience, so I'll go with that. You can connect up to 5 users or devices to this AT&T MiFi 2372. Okay, hold that note in mind right there.
All right.
What it means is you can connect up to 5 devices via Wi-Fi to this MiFi unit, and all 5 use service via Wi-Fi. Now, there is an option to connect. According to Novatel, who is the manufacturer of the device, you can connect to the device via USB cord and use the cellular service, but maybe not necessarily with AT&T, because on the AT&T website and in the AT&T documentation, they don't discuss that.
Oh.
However, I also did a little deeper research, and I went to the manufacturer's website, the website of the manufacturer of the actual device. So apparently potentially with other service providers, you could connect a USB cord to it and connect the USB cord to your computer and use it that way. And in that mode, in that configuration, only one computer can connect to it at a time.
All right.
And use it. And I'll just jump to this now, too. By the way, when I did, I actually, because I try stuff, so I actually connected it to the USB cord. And this particular device was looking for drivers, and the drivers are not available that I could find on the AT&T website. And when you go to the Novatel website, they tell you contact the provider of the service because that's where you're going to get your support. Okay. Battery lasts up to, once you have it fully charged, should last up to 4 hours. 4 hours worth of service.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. I went, really?
Continue.
Okay.
That's 4 hours continuous service, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have no reason to dispute that because what I did is once you gave the device to me to try, what I did was I went in and I modified some of the settings. So you had it, if it's not in use, it'll shut down or power off after, 30 minutes or whatever, I think was the default. I changed it to never. So I charged it all the way up, I drained it all the way down, and I charged it all the way up again just to try it. And that's the way. Because also the way I'm always on. I mean, I'm constantly on. So even if I sit and if I just let it sit and I walk away, I'm probably still doing stuff. So that's why I changed it. For the record, the Novatel wireless device has the same nomenclature, the MiFi 2372. It's just that this is the AT&T version of the MiFi 2372. There is 10 meters or 30 feet. Similar to Bluetooth, but it's not using Bluetooth, it's using Wi-Fi worth of connection range. So you can go 30 feet away from this, and you should still be able to connect to it. And again, I have no reason to dispute that. Didn't get a chance to try it because I wanted to try it, like sit it in another room and try to use it. But that was a bit of a problem for me here.
Right.
Because again, just let you all know, we're in Tucson, Arizona. However, I am on the far west side of Tucson, Arizona, across the top of a mountain, so signal capture was a little sketchy for me. Now, AT&T was supposed to put up some more towers in the Tucson metropolitan area, exactly where I'm not sure.
Right.
So my initial connection was kind of sketchy. However, to give you the summary of my connection experience, it was fine. It really was fine.
Do you? I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt you. But I'm wondering, do you find it to have been a better experience than maybe Quest? Because you've been on Quest, and I noticed that hasn't been like all that great for you.
Yeah, to be blunt, it was a much, much, much better experience than Quest. Much better. Because I'm on Quest DSL, as everybody knows. The 1.5 megabit download DSL, which is like 250 kilobits up, or 256, whatever it's going to be.
Ouch.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead and show the unit up again, if you I should say the MiFi, not the unit. Show the MiFi again.
Let's be clear, because
maybe. And let's see how thick that. If you've put it on its side, then we can actually see. So really, it just completely fits right in the palm of the hand, and then right in the shirt pocket, which I thought was pretty great.
Yipper. Here's the power button right here, which is also an indicator. Now it flashes and holds steady on different colors for different things. If it's on solid, could have a connection. If it's on solid, flashing two different colors, you're on a connection, and you're using HSPA connectivity, which is for the sake of argument, let's say 3G.
Right.
There's also, you can't see it here. Maybe I'll try and turn it on later so you can see. But when it's on and Wi-Fi is available, it'll be just a little Wi-Fi word will light up here, and if it's connected, it'll flash, and if it's available, just stay solid, just to let you know.
Did you notice? Did you notice that it actually goes into sleep mode?
No, because remember I went in and modified the settings.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have had I allowed it to. had I left it the way you had said it, but that's not going to happen.
No, of course.
Yeah. This also. Let me show you the back of it here real quick before I get to the pricing, because just so you'll know, there's a little micro SD slot here, card slot, and that'll hold up to 32 gigabytes. Now, in Wi-Fi mode, when you have up to 5 computers connecting to it via Wi-Fi, you can set it so that all or some or none or whatever can access the SD card with its data in here. And right there's the little USB. It's a micro USB port, which you use to charge, as well as probably, again, with other service providers, I would assume,
right.
Where you could probably use it, where you connect the USB cord to it and connect it to your computer, and then you could connect that way with one computer. But again, I don't believe, based on what I could not find, I don't believe AT&T supports connecting to their service via the USB cord. Because again, I plugged it in and it's looking for drivers. I didn't have drivers, couldn't find drivers. There you go. Huh. There is, let's see, some of the pricing. I think some of the pricing is okay. No commitment pricing for the device, straight out, meaning that you can pay month to month to month. $300. Based on my experience, I think it's fair. I really do.
Now that's $300 for the MiFi, and then how much per month, or is that $300 a month?
No, that's $300 just for the MiFi unit.
Right.
Now with the 2-year contract, they'll sell it to you for, the AT&T will sell it to you for $150. It's at $149, but $150 rounded off.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people are buying the Android phones, whether they be the Ovation or whatnot, that have this capability. You still have to pay extra for it to be able to, hotspot your computer and use that, which I think this is the way it needs to go. I mean, those little USB devices, those were nice and everything, and a lot of people still use those. You bang them up against the wall, people forget to take them out, they put them in their bags. You can run into problems with them. I like the way that this works, and then the fact that, you can put it on your desk, and if you're there with a family member and you want to read the morning paper, I mean, that's, you go to a coffee shop like Einstein's, which surprisingly did not have Wi-Fi, and you put this out, and your other half can, open up her iPad or iPod or whatever and go online and get the morning paper, and you can do the same. I mean, this is the day of the Jetsons right there.
Yeah, like you said, this is good for families as well as meetings. Like, if you guys are going out, hey, you guys going out for lunch, and some people want to take their computers and get some work done while you're doing lunch, the MiFi. Now, just so you know, online discount right now, I noticed you can get $100 discount. So if you're going to buy it outright, you can take it down to $199. If you're going to do the 2-year contract price, then you can probably, as I understand this, I'm sure I'm reading this right, you can take the 2-year contract price down to $49 for the unit.
Well, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing with the iPhone right now, right? It's you can buy an iPhone 3GS with 8 gig for $49 with a 2-year agreement.
Yep. Now the 2-year data is the 2-year Data Connect is the name of the service, Data Connect, with contract and new activation. Let's see. You get 200 megabytes per month at $35,
right?
Or 5 gigabytes per month. Listen to this gap here.
All right,
200 megabytes per month for $35. The only other option is for $60, 5 gigabytes. So 200 megabytes. 5 gigabytes. It's like, wow, that's a wide range. It's okay.
Yeah, that's quite a gap.
Yeah.
It's like shopping at Costco.
I don't know what will constitute 5 gigabytes, to be honest with you. You'll probably have to do some searching around, see what other people have used as far as, wireless services and that kind of thing, because, again, a person like me will stay on all the time. And 5 gigabytes is what I will download probably in a week. or less. So, let's see. With the unit, you can stay, according to AT&T, you can stay connected globally with data roaming in more than 200 countries. I know, that's nice. You can just put it in your bag and off you go.
Off you go, yeah.
They also offer text messaging with this, which I actually tested out. I sent a message to and from it just to see if it worked, and it works fine. They give you, standard telephone number. And through the web interface, which this has, once you connect to it, you use a browser, go to a particular web address, and use a particular password, which you can change. And matter of fact, I've got the interface open. It's not connected, but it's open. So let me tell you what you get on the front page. There is an option to check data usage. So now I haven't been able to do check data usage with this only because we weren't given the password to check data usage. So I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You can look at the connected devices and see what they're doing with the web interface. Send and receive text messages again. Check the weather in the area. There's also GPS. It can be GPS enabled, so you can look at maps and that kind of thing. You can go into settings and modify all kinds of stuff. There's just a lot of things in settings you can modify. Let's see. What else can I tell you about that? Okay, now. From the Novatel information, not the AT&T information, but from the Novatel information, because like I said, I did a little extra research. Novatel manufactures the device.
Yeah, they're the ones who sent it to us too.
Novatel did?
Yeah. That didn't come from AT&T. It came from Novatel. And because we looked at one of their devices earlier that they had made from Verizon. You remember we had the 720, I believe it was, Verizon stick. It was a USB stick. Mm-hmm. And we looked at that, and we were pretty pleased with that. So it was kind of fun to be able to go through and look at an AT&T powered device.
Yeah, let me show you the cord that came with it. It's just a standard USB Type A, and then it's a micro USB. So, Andy, was this the only cord that came with the device?
I believe so. Yeah, for what we have in the box.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because you're also supposed to be able to get an AC charger with it.
Oh, yes, we did. That we did. That got left behind. I did see that on the table afterwards. But you could charge it with that, with the USB.
Just asking. Just asking.
Is that leading down to why we don't have it today?
Well, it should be. Last time I checked, it should be charged, but it's only half charged. Okay. I'll get to that in just a moment. They did note. Novatel noted that charging the battery through the USB port is slower than charging through the AC charger or vehicle power car charger.
Yeah. I'm gonna shred you.
Now, just so you know, I did try to use an external charger that had a USB port on it, and it would never really fully charge on this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's probably a mismatch. There's probably some amperage or whatever in the charger they supplied that's different than this other charger I was trying to use. Again, you cannot use the MiFi wirelessly while it's plugged into a USB port. So it's either Wi-Fi or USB port. In the case of probably, again, other service providers.
Right.
Novatel did state that to use MiFi as a USB modem, you must install software and drivers, but you got to get that from the server. Normally takes 4 hours, and okay, let's see. Now, let's see. I've already told you about.
Let's talk about security a little, because I thought that was nice because some of the Android devices I have used for doing this type of connection when you want to get you want to set up your own hotspot. Security has been a little weak especially when it comes to the password. I like the hashing on the password on this. It's a lot better than I've seen with some of the Android phones.
What do you mean? Are you talking about the Wi-Fi key that's at the back?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it seems. I didn't notice anything different or outstanding or unusual or exemplary in regards to this. To me, it's pretty big.
I think if you've used one of the Android devices, you know that the security on them is at least the ones that I've seen, not the best in the world. So I think this is the reason why.
Okay. I didn't notice any issues or differences. I mean, it's just the only thing that happened to me, and this is a nothing. This is absolutely nothing, everybody. It's just that I looked at the Wi-Fi key and I punched it in. It didn't take until I did it exactly as it is, because all the characters of the alphabet that's in the Wi-Fi key are capitalized. And you know me, I'm thinking, I could just use the lowercase.
Right.
It's got to be exact. So that was fine. For what it's worth to you, if anybody wants to look this up, if you're interested, for whatever it's worth, I'm in area code zip code 85743. So initially when I booted this bad boy up and connected, you have 5 bars, and my signal strength was only 1 bar out of the 5. So I tried to, move it up and move it around and stuff. But after a while, it was like I said, it connected, and then when it did connect, sometimes if I moved it around or after sitting for a while, then signal strength would zoom in, whatever. I told Andy about this earlier in the week. It was kind of we chatted about it on Facebook. That's what it was. My speed was 1 megabyte up, 1 megabit per second up, and 3 megabits per second down. Use speed test. That was really nice. Again, 3G speeds. They say the high-speed data to access services could get up to 1.4 megabits per second. But again, I say in my area here, I was able to get 3. So it was double what the minimum is that they're telling you that you're going to get. On the landing page, the web interface, you also get a battery gauge, so you can remotely, if this is down the hallway, I can check and see how much battery I have left, as well as signal, to see what that is, data usage, and that, for the most part, is pretty much it. Now, here's the problem I came into, Andy. Okay.
All right.
In regards to why I'm not using it right now. So I plugged it in and I charged it up, and then I used it and drained it down. I should say this. I plugged it in, charged it up. I disconnected it, used it wirelessly, drained it down, plugged it in, charged it up again, and then tried to connect with it plugged in on the charge. I'm not trying to access the service via the USB. I'm trying to connect via Wi-Fi to the device as it's plugged into USB for power.
All right.
I was able to get that to work, but if I disconnected the USB cord, it would disconnect the service. And then getting connected back to it wirelessly was a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes I had to power it off totally, did that kind of thing.
I've seen that happen before. I've actually seen that happen with other devices as well. As soon as you unplug the wired portion, then it just shuts off. It doesn't. It's like unplugging the power cable to the back of a camcorder. Even if you have a battery plugged in, it will shut off rather than switch to battery.
Yeah, and it was the same in reverse. So I'm using the device, wirelessly on the battery, and I notice, I need to charge it up. So I don't do anything other than plug the cable into the computer and then plug the cable into the thing, and I lost connection. And again, a little sketchy, trying to get it back. I had to power it off. Maybe that. So, but in general, I really like it. I really do like it. I like it a lot, Andy.
Yeah.
I really like it a lot.
You like it a lot? So that if we didn't have to send it back, wouldn't that be great?
Are you saying we have to send it back?
Oh, yeah. That's one of those that we have to. Novatel's good to us. I mean, every 7 or 8 months, they'll send us something new that they've got without even asking. I didn't even ask for this one. And then, but they'll always put, we would like to have this back by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Yeah, we'll get it back to you. Maybe that's wrong. So it's the AT&T MiFi 2372. Recommend it? Yeah, I do. I absolutely recommend it. This is great. Awesome. This is great to have. You don't want to use it as your main, because I want to. I want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to use it as your main internet connection. But as far as performance, it's really good.
This would be great for somebody who is traveling a lot. And I remember, seriously, just about 2 years ago when I was writing for the Quarterly, a newspaper out here, they asked me to write a segment on traveling in an RV and some of the things you could have in an RV. And we were talking about flat screens, and we talked about, I think we actually talked about the Ovation, or I believe that was the name of the Novatel wireless device, the 720. And but I mean, this makes it even better. This would be perfect for the road. You're in an RV, you're driving down the road, you pull up to a rest stop. Here's your chance to use it. I mean, that's phenomenal. I wish we would have had one of these when we went to Vegas and we were taping inside the Ford Flex. That would have been great, because I think it would probably would have worked better. Number one. Number two, all of us would have had a connection. I would have had a connection. It would have been great.
Yeah, because we actually had to share it was a USB dongle that we had. We had to share it. I need it. Oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that would have been cool. But no, so I think it's probably worth the money. Now, the question is, will the rates get to a point where people are comfortable? Some people are still uncomfortable with this and say, well, I don't need it that bad. The rates come down more, people may be a little more apt to get it. Because right now, they're so confused with wireless. They go, okay, I get a Wi-Fi, and now I want to connect to the internet. I want to do this. I want to do that. And next thing you know, they're getting bills as big as their car payments. I've got one of those to prove it.
Yeah, maybe somewhere down the road, hopefully, and I hope AT&T is listening. Hello, AT&T. Maybe the two service plans that you've got are fine, but please, I'm asking. I'm asking for everybody, not just me, but I think it's a good suggestion. Would you please consider offering an unlimited data package, monthly unlimited data package? If you have to toss on, I'm going to say this and that.
Are you saying follow Sprint's example?
If that's the case, I didn't know they had an unlimited one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. My guess then, this is my opinion. If you have to add another $30 on top of it to make it unlimited, in my opinion, think it's fair. That will take it around the $90, $100 range, which I believe. You correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but isn't that kind of generally what an unlimited wireless service like this would cost, about $100 a month? Yeah, generally. I was in a Fry's the other day, and do you know that Kroger is doing their own internet service and phone service? Kroger is the grocery company, the parent company.
And I was looking on the wall, and it said internet for $5 a day, as low as $5 a day. And I was doing the math in my head, and I thought, wait a minute, that's $150 a month for unlimited internet. Basically, is what they're saying. So $150. So you figure plus you pay taxes on top of that. People forget when they get cell phones, they've got to pay all kinds of taxes for that. And there's been some beef about that recently. But when you
no, go ahead, finish.
When you break it down at $150 plus the tax, you're paying about $170 for internet service. It's a little excessive for it to be a mobile device that you're using on the road as a secondary device to your home internet. Now, that
was my question. Was it a mobile device? So,
yeah.
All right.
When that changes, when that gets around seriously $75, if it ever does, I think people may be a little more apt to look at it, especially when they can have it installed in their vehicle and they can have internet streaming radio, that type of thing. Not like they're doing now with satellite radio, but an actual, the way to connect your car to the internet down the road for less than, $75, $80 a month.
I decided to pull up the Kroger website to see if I could find some information on the internet.
Did you find anything on there?
No, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. Because that just kind of surprised me. Like you said, 170. What the? For like cellular kind of? What are they, nuts? Who are they getting the service from?
Well, it's one of those no contracts, those type of things. But you're still buying the equipment. Honestly, I'm looking at Boost right now for my daughters. Boost is like they've got the best plan on the market. You spend $150 and you get the LG phone, which I think is one of the best phones on the market. And then you pay, what is it, $50? It's $25 to $50 a month, and it's unlimited text, unlimited data. I don't think it's unlimited phone calling, but the nice thing about those is it will shut off when they've reached their peak in minutes, so you don't come back with a huge bill from T-Mobile for $1,000. Thank you very much.
Yeah, nothing on Kroger that I could find about the internet because. Oh, now, the device, was it like that you saw at Kroger?
USB device.
It was?
Yeah.
Was it like the little thing, little dongle kind of thing, or a stick or whatever? Or?
Yeah.
It was? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I can't find any information on it. So, wow. I wonder who they're using for service. Do you know?
I think might be, you love this one. It might be Cricket. I'm not sure. I'd have to find out.
Wow. That would, because isn't Cricket on somebody else's network? Or
believe they are. Didn't they merge with somebody? Did they merge with AT&T? I'm not sure.
No, I think they still stand alone because their company, I can't think of the name of the company, but I'm familiar with their parent company.
Right.
Because their parent company had Cricket, and they also had, which I had for a time, they gave it to me for I don't know, 3 to 4 months as promotion, prepaid service.
Right. Let's get my mom on the line and see if my mom is having a problem with her computer. Hi, Mom. You're on the air.
Oh, I am?
Yes.
Oh. Well, good morning, everybody. How are you all doing?
Good morning.
Hello.
I figured, let's get my mom on the line. She might be having a computer problem. Maybe we can help her out.
I've figured it out.
Oh.
Can I plug another company?
Sure.
Amazon is sending it to me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the battery, you're doing the...
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
boy. Oh, boy.
I couldn't get it through the other place, so...
Through Radio Shack?
So I'm going through Amazon.
Well, yeah, here's what happened. My mom has a Uniden cordless phone, and the battery went out on it. And unfortunately, when those go out, well, how long did you have that in there, Mom?
I'd say about 5 years. It was made in China.
Right. Yeah, they recharge. They say rechargeable, but they do recharge, but only for a certain amount of years, and then you got to replace the batteries. What you found out. So you ordered it from one company, and they sent you the wrong one?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And so I sent that back, and I tried to order it through Uniden, but they would only accept PayPal, and I don't have PayPal, and I don't want to have PayPal.
Right.
So I went to Amazon, and sure enough, I got it from them. And I get a lot of stuff from Amazon, so.
Yeah, and with Amazon, you can just pay with your credit card, and then you're good to go.
Yes, and I get points and everything. Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you, persevering pays off.
Now, Mom, before you ordered from Amazon, did you at least go through Tech Talk Radio so that way I get the credit for the sale?
Gee, I didn't think of that.
See, I should have sent my mom a link last night.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll let you go.
All right,
and,
Mom.
Have a good day. It's nice and sunny out here.
Well, hopefully maybe something we can come back to Cali and help put that in, but they'll probably get it to you in the next couple of days, I would think.
It'll be here when I return from my Vegas trip next week.
All right. Well, good. Well, maybe Carrie or Bob can put that in for you. That'll be good. So.
Oh, no, I know how to do that. I'm learning to do a lot of stuff on my own.
Mom, doesn't she sound great for 50?
Yeah. That's absolutely right.
Awesome.
Actually, 49 and a half.
There you go. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to you later today.
Okay. Have a good day.
All right. You too.
Bye.
Love you. All right. Bye-bye.
Love you too. Bye.
Okay. Yeah, and she did not want to get PayPal, Slick. And we were talking last night, and she told me that one company she could buy it from, but they only accepted PayPal. And she said, should I get PayPal? I go, Mom, if you're not comfortable with PayPal, don't get PayPal.
Yeah.
You know? But my recommendation for her was actually to take the phone to Radio Shack. Hand it to the guy and say, can you get a battery and put a battery in here? Because Radio Shack supposedly carries them. But, you know, their supply, it's not Radio Shack anymore. It's The Shack.
They changed it? They really officially changed it?
Yeah, they officially changed it. They're The Shack now. But but they I guess they didn't have it because I told her, here's your best bet. They'll actually put the battery in for you. Can't beat that.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, if she's not comfortable with PayPal, what about has she considered, or does she have, or have you thought about mentioning to her like a prepaid card? You know, you put some money on there, you spend it, it's gone, it's over.
It's actually a really good idea because anytime you're going to shop online, you really shouldn't use, number one, a debit card ever. Number two, you shouldn't use a credit card that you use for different purchases. You should always use one card set for just that purpose. And that's a good idea, is a secured card or a card with a specific limit on it.
Yeah,
that you can recharge.
Unless she has one of those cards with service where, like, if you get frauded, we'll put the money back in your account and we'll take care of it for you. Yeah, no, she's got all that stuff. So, I mean, I guess she really doesn't have to worry about it that much, but if she's going to get into more shopping online, then probably would be a good idea. Yeah.
I mean,
just a thought. I mean, I've got a PayPal account, but I haven't really tied it to anything. I was going to try to use it if I were going to use PayPal. I was going to use it to, like, receive funds.
Yeah.
And like we're talking now, spend it on particular items.
Right.
I don't think. I guess you could allow PayPal to have somewhat, quote unquote, unlimited access to your checking account or whatever account if you allowed to. But my hope would be that you could limit. You could say, the funds have to be allocated to PayPal for them to be taken out of PayPal. And if you don't have funds at PayPal, you don't have any funds to spend through PayPal, period. End of story.
Right. I don't know.
That would be my hope.
Oh, well. Hey, I got to
find out.
Are you on Facebook, Slick? I don't know if you're on Facebook right now. For those of you that are on Facebook, you got to do this. And no, my mom is not on Facebook, but you got to do this. You got to do a search for Boo. BOO. Now, I'm a big guy. I'm 48 years old, and I love cute things too. This is the cutest thing in the world. You got to see this. If you haven't seen Boo yet, Boo is a public figure on Facebook, which means it's a page that was created for people who wanted to be fans of Boo. Boo already has 861,259 people who like him. Because, to be a page, an official page, you have to have, is it 25 likes? 25 people that like you?
Yes, right, yeah.
This, Boo's got 861,000 people that like Boo. It's actually really cool stuff, so you got to check that out.
Well, Boo is not what came up at the top of mine. Now, some of the people I am, it says all results, and under all results, one of them popped up for me, which makes sense because I'm a friend of his. Those of you who may be familiar with him, his name is Bootsy, baby. William Bootsy Collins.
Bootsy Collins, yeah.
Yeah, from Bootsy's Rubber Band and Parliament Funkadelic and George Clinton. But at the top, at 50,362 likes, I have a page called, well, it's related to breastages. It says boobies.
Is that anything like the web domain I purchased this week?
What did you purchase?
I'll get into it in a little bit with you. I'll share it with you.
Oh my! No, this says boobies. But so now this makes me wonder, in this search function that they have, because it found boo for you and boobies for me, does it also look at your, I don't know, interests and history, and, to see what, well, Slick's not really looking for boo. We know what he's looking for.
Yeah.
One of them things.
I don't know. That's a good question. Oh, boy.
Things that make you go,
All right, so this week, some friends of mine, I have a good friend named Wendy, who always posts pictures. Now, Wendy is a former model. Actually, she's doing modeling now. Very attractive. She's friends. Don't worry, she's friends with Gloria. We're all good friends. And her and the girls, actually, her and her friends and her girls always go out to these, big parties, usually thrown by very rich people, whatever, and they take their photos. And they're dressed to the nines. Well, Wendy used to own a part of a boutique, from what I understand. And so she gets these really, what's the word? Revealing? Would that be okay to use? Revealing clothes?
yeah.
So she had a picture the other day up on her Facebook, and it was funny because I was on the air at the radio station, and I looked over just as the page was coming up, and I couldn't speak. It was like, whoa. And I mean, they're dressed. So Wendy has a habit with the girls to call her girls the girls, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay? You know what I'm talking about then.
Oh, yeah.
So they do a lot for charity and everything. So we were kind of kicking around the idea of a website that focused on the girls, but also raised charity for breast cancer research. So guys would go to it, donate some money, and it goes to breast cancer research, to help offset, whether it be Susan G. Komen or whatnot. They're going to find out all that information, I guess. But also be, a way you can go and participate with the girls. So I got the girlsoftucson.com. What a great domain name. Seriously.
It is.
Once in a while you come across these domain names and you look and you go, oh, that would be great. And you check and it's available and you go, I don't care if it's $12, I'm getting it. So, yeah. I will admit that is my web domain. Right now it's just a GoDaddy Park page because I got to figure out what to do with it. But I think it'd be pretty funny.
Well, that's a great idea. I've often come up with just names at the top of my head, like you say, and I just do a search just to go, does it exist? And what do you mean they haven't registered that? And then because I have nothing in my pocket, I can't register the name. But yeah, it's just to have the neat name, and then maybe later on, maybe it'll be a week, maybe it'll be a day, a week, a month, or whatever. You might decide to do something with it, but at least you got it.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's available. And you could do all kinds of stuff with it. If you don't want it, you could give it to somebody.
Exactly. Or sell it. If you put it up for auction or something like that.
The Girls of Tucson. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I just thought that's a good domain, especially if it can raise some money. Why not? It'd be kind of fun. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about some of the stuff that I've been going through this week in regards to a virus that probably a lot of us are going to come up against, whether we fix computers or we have relatives that get online and do searches. It is, and I thought to myself at some point, System Tools 2011 was a virus that was kind of a pain in the butt. But I found very quickly that Malwarebytes, which you can get at malwarebytes.org, is probably one of the best out there for getting rid of this. And I just thought that this computer I went to go fix on Wednesday was going to be infected with this System Tools virus. So I get over there, and sure enough, there is System Tools on there. We were able to get rid of it. But then somebody in the office came up to me and said, well, we have another problem on these other computers. There's 4 computers in their office. And so I said, well, what's the problem? They go, well, whenever we go to Google, we type in something to search for. When we click on the results, it takes us somewhere else. And I said, well, you sure you're doing it right? And he said, yeah. So I get on over there, and I get at the computer, and I start typing in a search that I wanted to look for. And I click on Tech Talk Radio, and I go to a website that's selling tents. I don't know if it's shirts for Andy, but they're selling tents. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, something's wrong here. So I clear out the cache, thinking maybe it's as simple as that. and do another search. This time I typed a search for Tucson. Clicked on it, and what came up was a travel site, not the Tucson City site, which is what I actually had clicked on.
Right.
Oh, this is kind of interesting, right? And it wasn't that good a looking site. So I went ahead and went through their antivirus programs. They had 4 toolbars installed in their computer: Ask, Yahoo, Google, and MSN. I mean, all stacked up. Then what? If you're going to use a toolbar, you just need one. You don't need all of them. Pick the one you want and go with that one. They had AVG, Avast. They had anti-spyware. They had super anti-spyware. All of these installed at the same time. So we took care of one computer, took care of a second computer, had the same thing happening to it. Third computer, same thing. Fourth computer, same thing. Rebooted all the systems. And here's the thing. The guy wanted a new operating system. He wanted Windows 7, so I went out and got Windows Home Professional 7 to replace his Vista. That he just was tired of Vista. Bumped him up a couple of gigs of RAM, so he's at 3 gigs and running Windows 7 Home Professional. Fresh install. Put it on the network. You know, all the other computers are running. I do a search. Everything's fine. Reboot the system. Do another search. Boom, the thing is right back. Because what you do is if you look at, like if you want to search, say you go to Google and you type in, google.com, and then when you're at google.com, you go ahead and you type in something you're searching for. Say I'm searching for Tech Talk Radio, right? Well, you'll get your results down below. And then you mouse over your results. At the bottom, you should see the actual result of where you're going to go. So for this example, we're the first one that comes up when you type in Tech Talk Radio. It should say http www.techtalkradio.com. Well, when I look down on that bar that's down there, it was actually saying http.e.1.o.google.com / and then a bunch of code. So realize that we have a bigger problem here.
Right.
So I went online, took a look around, and found out that, yes, there is a virus out there called the Google Redirect virus. And this is a nasty virus that basically what it does is, now you would think, originally I think the thinking was what happens is when you click on here, it will take you to somebody else's webpage. They get a penny because their name is probably the Google Redirect, and they're making money because you're just going in and clicking through a link that is from the Google search engine, right? You would think that would make sense. No. What it's doing is it's actually taking you to a website which is installing malware on your computer. So their initial redirect then takes you to a site and installs malware upon malware upon malware, so eventually it can take over your computer, right? Random spam site. All right? So Cornish Nerd just mentioned it in the chat room. Yeah, he said, sounds like fun on that one. Absolutely, it was not fun. So going online, trying to find the correct, you have to be really careful when you're searching for antivirus or spam solutions or anti-spyware solutions when you're online, because what happens is probably, 5 times out of 10, Slick, when you say they're going to direct you to a site that is going to be full of malware.
Oh yeah, you gotta use more words than antivirus. I mean, you gotta try to really drill down in and zero in on what you're working on, because I don't know how what your interface is like, but when I do searches, I have 100 results on the page, because sometimes it takes a while to compare them all and go, all right, that makes sense, and this guy says the same thing, that makes sense. You gotta weed your way through all the junk to get to the people who have the truth.
And that's probably the hard part about it. So I figured the first thing we were going to do is streamline the other 3 computers in the office. I mean, we couldn't streamline the new install anymore. So we said, let's streamline those. So we got rid of the toolbars. Got rid of the LimeWire that was still installed. Got rid of the some of the torrent stuff that was still installed. Wait a
minute, how many computers are we talking about this particular business?
4 total. 4 total.
Okay. So, why is all this other stuff installed at all?
Exactly. Well, this is one of those things where the owner of the company lets his employees have some leeway, And in that leeway, stuff gets installed, and they think it's cool because they can listen to streaming music or whatnot. And next thing you know, they're opening themselves up within the whole company to this type of problem. And, that's why, and it's funny because the computer, engineer at a lot of companies is the one that people hate the most because he locks down chat. He locks down the browsers. He locks down, being able to install a program. Well, he's doing it for a reason, to save the company money so that, down the line, I'm not going to have to come in or somebody's not going to have to come in and clean out all the computers there.
Yeah.
It's just, it's because it's going to cost him more money in the long run, especially if he's paying somebody $75 an hour to come in and do this. And seriously, this guy's a friend, so I gave him a really, really good break. But this would have been a job that would have cost him in excess of about $450 to clean up the entire office.
Wow.
And I had to do it in 2 trips. So last night, wrong way, Gloria.
That's the garage door, everybody.
Yeah, because
I can tell. I've been there. I know.
Huh? No, we're not laughing at you. So basically, I had to do 2 trips because by the time we figured out, listen, there's something wrong on all 4 computers, I got to come back tomorrow morning and early, and then we can go ahead and fix this. So I went back this morning, and I ended up. And here's the other thing: you take it on a flash drive, you have the possibility of infecting your flash drive because you don't know what they have on their system. Now, Slick, somebody told me that, there's no way that you can get a virus just by plugging in a USB flash drive on a system that's infected.
Now, you may not want to out this person, but can you describe this person?
The person that told me that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know him. He's blonde and he fixes computers a lot.
What?
We know.
Professionally?
No, but he's been one of those guys that knows enough to get himself in trouble. That says he could fix computers. And he actually told me, because he said, and I just put everything on a flash drive. And I said, I wouldn't do that, because if you had a flash drive and the person has a virus, you can get infected. He goes, you can't get infected just plugging in a flash drive. There's also the ability when people bring in their flash drives, if you put it in your computer, you could get a virus from them as well, if you're not protected.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, there are reports. Here's my favorite thing that happens now. I don't know if you've read about this or not, but one of the ways they reel people in nowadays is they will infect the flash drive and drop it in like a parking lot or on a sidewalk street or something, and wait for somebody to pick it up.
Oh yeah, that's new.
Oh yeah. Oh look, I just found a flash drive. I need one. Great.
Yeah, let me see what's on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not good at all. So I ended up going in this morning. Here's what I did. I went and burned a CD. I burned it with 4 essential programs. Number 1, ESET, antivirus. Because my decision was, let's get rid of the antivirus, AVG, free antivirus they had on here. Because obviously that wasn't working for them. Got that. Malwarebytes. And I saved 2 versions of Malwarebytes. I saved the actual program you download, and then renamed it, and I called it TTR fix, because that's what I rename stuff when I'm working with it. Mm. So, and that way, if you would put it on their computer, if the virus is smart enough, it might know, I'm going to change that program, or I'm going to make it so that program won't run. So this way you have a program, it will still run. Depending on how infected that system is, you could still run into it not. A program I found that you only want to get at bleeping computers called Combo Fix. Combo Fix. All right, and that is supposed to handle some of the issues you have with the Google virus, redirect virus. And then, let's see, we got another one. There was that. Oh yes, TDSS killer, which I found at Kaspersky Labs for their site. Put those all on a CD and took them and just disconnected all the computers from the net. Yep. Did them one at a time. Had to clean the cache, restore the browser to their original state, and then once all of them were done, then I actually had to physically clean the DNS off the router, rebooted the router, because what it does is it actually hijacks the router, not just the PC but the router, so that it can reinfect as well. At least that's what I found through one of the blogs that I went to, and if I had my actually, I may be able to pull up this exact address, and I can put it in the chat room, because it was the most helpful when it came for me trying to find information on, getting rid of this this blog here. Here it is. It's delete. Let me pull this up here. DeleteMalware.blogspot.com. DeleteMalware.blogspot.com. It's a blog post. Was the best laid out description of what I needed to do, and sure enough, went through all of it and was very happy to get rid of it. Now, here's one thing I want to say that threw me for a loop, Slick. When you want to find out what is the best antivirus in the market, what would you do?
I usually do some searches, look at news reports as well as blog posts, and nowadays I even check, the Twitter feeds, as well as general searches. Read a bunch of. I have to put in the time. That's what I do. I put in the time to look at a bunch of comments from various sources, and then make my decision based on what I'm looking for to accomplish, whether it's free, whether it's paid, 32-bit, 64-bit, whatever. That's what I do.
Okay. So you actually do the research. A lot of people don't do that research, They just go to the store and they say, what's on the shelf? What's the cheapest? It's not that I'm not a fan of Norton or Symantec. I've had experience over the years that just told me it was a little too much. I mean, maybe for an average user running a system that has all the memory that they need, that has, Windows 7, 32, and they've, installed it clean, maybe that'll work well for a person. But I've always been kind of standoffish. So I decided. Yeah, I'm telling.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you right here. Define too much, just so we know we understand what you're saying.
Think about when you buy a new PC. All right.
Okay.
You buy a new PC, and what do you want it to do? You want it to be able to get on the net. You want to be able to write a document. You want to be able to save your pictures. You get that computer home. You open it up, and there is all these programs and things popping up left and right with a new PC. You haven't installed anything on it. And there's, you can do this, and here's 30 days for this, and here's a 60-day trial for this, and here, try this out. This might work for you. It's always nice to get something a little extra. It always is. But in the case when it comes to computing, I say trim it and keep it simple. Make it simple. Don't make it eat a lot of my memory. Don't take up a lot of hard drive space. Keep it simple. Now, you would think, well, somebody's saying this, why are they living in a Windows 7 world? Windows 7 itself, if you've installed Windows 7 from, like an OEM version of Windows 7, it's not bad. I wish they put mail back in it rather than making you go out to live mail. But, you have this. But if you go out and you buy yourself an HP or a Dell, which are still the good manufacturers, but they put everything on the. And I spend probably about an hour to 2 hours deleting all that stuff that the customer is just not going to use. There's frustration there. They come to me to install it or to configure their computer because that's what they want. They want a very easy experience. They don't want to have to go through all of this. So they pay somebody to delete the programs the companies put on.
And I've said this over and over. I don't understand. There used to be a time. I remember when you'd get the new computer, you would get all the extra stuff on separate CDs and discs, which was fine.
Yes, exactly.
That was fine, but this installing it, they're probably, the manufacturers of the applications and programs are probably paying them a little extra going, look, we'll pay a little extra to put it on the computer so that when it boots up, there it is. It usually takes me, whenever I get a new computer, takes me 3 days. 3 days before I will actually commit to the actual configuration. Right. Day one, unboxing, set it up, okay. That's all I expect to accomplish on day one because you just don't know. Day two, looking around, maybe uninstalling some stuff. Like you say, it's going to take me a couple of days to find out, nope, don't want that, reboot, reboot, don't want that, reboot, set up, configure. Day three, I'm starting to get close now. On day three, I'm starting to get close. It's starting to look the way I want it. Okay. On day four, I look at it, I go, well, okay, now it should be the way I like it. Now I can move forward. I don't have to start. I'm not going to keep looking. I'll probably find something, but I'm not going to intentively start looking for stuff right now. I've had 3 days.
Now, obviously, you put an antivirus program on there? maybe even a spyware program. Like you see now, for me, I'm so happy with Malwarebytes that I will, on one computer here, my main computer, I will go out and I will purchase a license for it. It's a free program, but you can also buy a different version. You can actually pay for a version, which I think is certainly worth it. I'd recommend
whenever
it.
possible, please do. Please support these people, especially if they're giving you the free software, because that helps them make the better product as well as the free product for those who need it, can't afford it, etc.
Well, here's the problem I ran into, though, Slick. As I said, I recommended to this guy who owns a shop. I said, listen, here's what I think we should do. We should put antivirus on every one of the computers out here. Don't go with AVG. Don't go with Avast. We're a business, so why don't we go ahead and really do it professionally? Let's get ESET. And he goes, what's ESET? I said, ESET is an antivirus program, very small footprint, uses high heuristics, which means that if it looks at a program and it sees, hey, this program looks a little shady here, I'm going to check this program out. It looks at signatures that have not been written, or what it does is it submits them to an ESET engine. And using those high heuristics can help determine if it's a 0-day infection, meaning this is the day it came out, day 0. It's a day that, so it blocks it before it gets into the wild. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of protection, I would want on a system like this, especially when you have a lot of hands-on users. The idea of blocking a lot of things came up, but he doesn't want to go that route, and then talked about maybe the idea of me coming in once a month and, just going through the system, which I told him, I said, well, you got to do this because if you don't, what happens in a month can be very dangerous. I mean, you're talking about a day. If something happens the next day, apparently they've been living with this situation for about 4 months.
Wow. See, you're being put in the position of a primary care physician. You're telling, that's what it is. You're sitting there and you're telling your patient, here's what you need to do to be healthy. Right. Here's what it's going to take. Your patient is saying, I can't or I don't want to do that. And you're saying, okay, well, here are your options. But every time you get sick, you're going to have to pay me.
Yep.
And
that's a good idea.
And, I'm not trying to pile on to whomever this is. It's just that this person really should understand. This is not, in my opinion, this is not like one of those larger expenses that you have for business. This is a necessity expense.
Well, I like what Babs says here in the chat room. She mentions SWS. They're good people over there. I still wonder about some of the ideas. They don't stay open on Sundays and whatnot, but and she makes a good point. No crap in a custom computer. Pretty much the case if they're using good hardware. So yeah, with everything you got to check that. But she's right. If you go in, you spend $119 is what you get Home Professional for now. You want that installed, fresh hard drive, memory, good motherboard, good video card. You're good to go. But then again, you got to be careful. That is pretty much custom. However, what about drivers for the video card? So you got to research. You still got to research. Do a research on what the video card is and what type of software the video card loads. Many people have complained about ATI, and have said, "Oh my God, ATI! I've got problems with their Catalyst program, and it tries to install all this." You can even, when installing it, be selective in what you want to have installed. Yeah, just a couple of things to think about there when doing.
Yeah, I do recommend the business license for people who have a business and multiple computers. Go ahead and get the business license because you can install, 3, 5, 10, and it even goes to unlimited. They have unlimited license for big corporations. Like, I'll give you an example, like Clear Channel. Clear Channel's got, they got gobs of computers and stations all over the country. They've got an unlimited license, so they pay for it.
Oh yeah,
but it's unlimited. They just put it on everything. Look at that. You also, and you're probably going to have this conversation with the person, from a business standpoint, if you're not going to protect yourself adequately and properly. Now, that's debatable, the definition of the phrasing I'm using here.
Let nobody use the computers.
Then here's something else you can consider. It's a slash and burn proposition, but maybe they should start having ghosts of their machine so that if something goes wrong, so you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours trying to fix it. And I'm looking at it from this standpoint to where they don't want to have to spend all this money to have it being fixed. You can either just wipe the drive and start all over, or, again, wipe the drive and start all over, but easily more easily go back to where you were. With a ghost, which is an exact copy, you set the machine up the way you want it. This is exactly how I want it. Perfect. All right. Snapshot, copy, ghost. You put that off to the side. Something goes wrong, you bring it right back to there. Right back to there.
A lot of the you remember Gandalf was telling us that a lot of the schools do that.
Yeah.
You know, a student comes in, that way you alleviate any problems with the kid leaving something else on the computer. It's like changing out the cash register when you're a checker at a store. You take your drawer and somebody else comes in and puts their drawer in. That's kind of the better way to do it.
Yeah, people don't have the time or the money or the expense or the interest or whatever. You need to get up and running and going. You need to be back to zero and off you go.
Yeah, in this case, this was a business. I had a meeting that day, lunch meeting with Jeff Conway over Tucson PC. And, we were going to go meet for lunch. And when this guy called me and said, I've got problems, we can't get on the internet. And this was the other problem that had popped up, not the Google redirect, but the other one, which was probably caused by the Google redirect taking them to spam sites. I had to cancel my lunch meeting because this is a business. They need to be on all the time. It's not like you're home and you just go, okay, I'll go without it. I've got a laptop back here. It hasn't worked for 3 months. Customer bought it 5 months ago, so it worked for 2 months before her kids got some viruses on it, and then nobody could remember the password. So we had to go in, delete it, delete the user, delete everything, and then had to reset it up with the Toshiba software, which now I'm going through, removing all the Toshiba bloatware that is on this laptop.
So depending on how many times you're going to have to do that, you may need to have that ghost conversation with them.
Oh yeah, I think and that's what I think is another great idea. It's like you mentioned, this ghosting is once you get your system set up to the way you want it, you ghost the drive, put another hard drive, disconnect it, put it somewhere, no dust, because that dust can still ruin the platters or whatnot on the drive. Heck, put it on a SSD if you want. And then just put it away somewhere. That way, if there's something wrong, I have that system. There's a system on the shelf over here. Gloria was running a medical billing business. If her system went down, piece of cake. We just disconnect it, bring that computer in, connect it up, we're good to go. We have a backup all the time. A business should always have some kind of a redundancy there. Now, I wanted to get, though, to this point, though, about antivirus.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, okay, I'm telling this guy to get ESET. I like ESET. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to go online and see what the reviews say for the newest version, because they're in version 4 right now. I went online, went to PC Magazine. Now, I didn't go to Consumer Reports because I didn't want to pay for it. I'm a cheap ass. So I thought, I'll go to PC Magazine. I get to PC Magazine. I'm reading the reviews. Not one mention of ESET. Anywhere in all of their roundups, nothing for 2011. Nothing in the malware protection, nothing in spyware protection. I thought, wow, it's not even getting rated. So I look at what PC Magazine is rated as the top antivirus solution out there. You want to take a guess at what it was, Slick?
PC Mag, I'm gonna take a stab because, like I said, I did as much research as I could before I installed some top. I'm gonna go way out here off to the side. I'm gonna say Antivir.
Antivir, no, good guess though. They actually rated, and you can go ahead and take a look. They show the results of their testing. They rated Lavasoft's program. Remember we used to use the anti-spyware program?
They do have an antivirus product out. That's right.
They rated that, Adaware, as the best solution for not only virus, but also for spyware protection. And they have a pro version, which you can pay for. They even have a pro bundle. You get 3 for $39. 3 PCs for $39. And it shocked me. I thought, wow, I haven't used this program in a long time. You know what? I'm going to check this USB flash drive I have. So I went ahead and I downloaded the Pro on a trial and installed it. I couldn't get it to run. I was like, wait a minute now. I've got 12 gigs in this machine. It's Windows 764. It would not even run. So I thought, let me put it on this other machine. I put it on the other machine. It took about maybe 5 minutes for it to load. And I'm thinking, how is PC Magazine giving this top rating?
Well, that makes me wonder, why, like you said, they only tried these 4 or whatever, why they only tried those particular products and rated those particular products when there's all these other products out there.
Right.
Now, if they were doing what I would consider good journalism, I don't know what the circumstances are, but I'm saying if they were doing good journalism, they would explain why only these products were compared in this particular rating process.
Right.
That's me. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Where's ESETs and whatnot? I was shocked. So I ended up going back to ESET, and I think that's the direction I'm going to go in because, again, small footprint pricing. They have business pricing. If you want to do 5 PCs, it's $200 and something bucks. It's probably the best $200 you're going to spend. The reason, and yeah, that's $200 a year you're going to spend. It's not, a lifetime. And there's probably cheaper, alternatives. There's free alternatives out there, but I think you get what you pay for. And I think I personally feel that they're one of the best. Now, I think I need to get in touch with Symantec, take another look at Norton, although I've been really poo-pooed on them. I won't look at McAfee. I'm sorry. Maybe that's bias. I've always had bad luck with that. I don't know if they've changed it. Maybe they have, but it made me wonder when the cable company here was giving out free copies of McAfee, and then they stopped doing that, and now they're giving away free copies of whatchamacallit, of Norton. So
kind of probably marketing. The antivirus companies work different deals with different internet service providers.
Yeah, that could be it. Still, maybe.
I'm trying to remember who Quest is because Quest even offered something. I don't know, but yeah, they get bundled.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about it. My motherboard, but I think it's only a 3-month subscription. Hold on, let me take a look. I got it. The Intel DH57DD. Hold on. Whoa. Hello. Okay, let me see here. This has a 45-day license to ESET inside that came with that. You can see that right there. So, if a company like maybe I shouldn't say that because of their chip problems recently, but a company like Intel looks at it, they say, "Oh, wow, cool. We'll bundle this." That's not a bad deal. I'm pretty pleased with that.
Yeah.
So
shop around and try it out. I switch up antivirus products too. I'll try different ones, and because I've actually was trying some out last week on a computer, and noticed I had been using because it was new and I wanted to try it out. I put the Microsoft Security Essentials on 32-bit. I left it on, and then wanted to try something else, so I peeled it off, put on this other antivirus product, and it found stuff that apparently Microsoft Security Essentials had bypassed. But again. Yeah. Microsoft Security Essentials is free. There is no paid version as far as I'm aware. So it's always free.
Right.
But, you get, as they say, you get what you pay for. Odds are that if you pay for a particular product, you're probably going to get a better product.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Better updates, and you're supporting the company as well, so they can keep the engineers employed and keep them finding out why is it that people... And then there's the argument, well, if you don't want viruses, then switch to a Mac. But Mac still gets viruses. So you just got to...
Oh, yeah, they do now, yeah. They're targeting them. Before, they didn't target them. Only people who, just were kind of bored, I guess, maybe targeted Macs. But now Macs are more popular than they were. They're on a competitive basis with... Windows-based computers, and so people go after them. They go, they're less protected than the others, so if we go through the Macs, then we can get to the others much easier.
Well, one of my clients this week called and told me that he's in the Mac world. He has Macs. He's giving them up. He said, I want to get rid of these Macs. He said, because I just want to go PC with my business.
Can we have them?
He's the kind of guy that would probably say, yeah, here, take them. He's like
Give me the number. What's his name? Pin.
But no, I'm not going to give you his number. He but that was his idea that Macs aren't ready for prime time. I think they are, depending on what you're doing. It's just a matter of number one, it's the training factor, getting everybody trained to use the Mac. But it's the line has come almost full circle when it comes to the difference between the Mac and the PC itself. mean, you can look at it, and it's pretty much the difference. And what I like is the fact that Ubuntu is even catching up to the Mac when it comes to interface and the look of it, that who knows where it's all going to go.
Yeah. Hey, I meant to throw this into the conversation earlier when we were talking about the operating systems being infected and stuff like that. See, that's why, and you and I have talked about this before, but I got to say it again. I'm a big fan of computers, motherboards, or whatever that boot to USB drives, because I love installing operating systems on USB drives, whether it be a thumb drive or an external, drive or whatever, and taking it to another computer. I truly believe this is where we should have gone in a lot of instances, and the business the side of it is a good example. Here's an example. Yeah, we're at a workstation. Let's say you and I were working for Clear Channel right now. I'm using Clear Channel because they're the big one. All right, use an example. Let's say you and I share a desk. Okay. Andy works the day shift. I work the night shift. Okay. Andy comes in. He plugs in his external drive. He boots from his external drive. He's got an operating system. Anything that goes wrong to Andy and Andy alone for the most part.
Right.
End of the day, Andy's out. He goes away. I come in. I bring my drive. I plug it in. I got my software. I got my files. I got my, so anything that goes wrong, in general, it should not affect Andy when he comes in tomorrow. If I download gobs and gobs of porn, and it just ruins my programs, my data, all that stuff, shouldn't affect Andy because I'm going to take my drive out and he's going to plug his in. Now, there are things that will rewrite to hardware and stuff like that, but I'm saying in general. Mm-hmm. Why haven't we gone there, people? I don't understand this. Well, to me, it's a brainer.
Well, if you think about it, what have a lot of the manufacturers done? They've done this kind of a boot where you boot to the use of a media player. So you turn your computer on, and you can tell it, hey, I don't want to boot full. Just go ahead and turn on the DVD player and the screen. That's all I want. So it doesn't even start up any of the other things. That has a special feature to it. I've always thought, why don't manufacturers out there find a way to allow us to have an operating system on the motherboard, embedded, to allow us to do basic features. If we want to do, we want to. So basically, it's like almost like now it's going to the cloud, but I mean basically like that, jumping to that type of experience.
Well, we've got that. We've had that for years. It's just not been used a lot, and it's really seriously been used for the most part on the consumer side, but just for us nerds and us geeks. But it's getting to the point to where they're having I want to say like thin client motherboards where it'll boot to just an interface. You get a browser, you get just a minimal operating system. If you're lucky, there are some companies, and I wish I knew who they were because I would love to read some of their papers about their experiences with this, where they boot to an operating system that's back on a server. So it's a network boot is what it is. So you plug in your network cable. The computer does not boot to any internal hardware. It's just a client. That's all it is. There's no internal storage drive or anything like that. And it will boot out to the network, to the server, and then run off of the server. So anything that you use, it's got to be server allowed, or it's not going to happen.
Not a bad idea at all. We have some comments here in the chat room, Slick. I wanted to mention one guy, Cornish Nerd. Thank you. I called him one guy. Sorry about that, CN. Said I tried. I've tried a Cornish Nerd. I've had a Cornish game hen. I've never had a Cornish Nerd.
How do you eat them little tiny things? I remember the one time I went to some fancy schmancy dinner. They put that on the plate, and I go, "Where's the rest of the chicken?"
Okay, Curly.
And then they're looking. I'm looking around. Everybody's using these little tiny knives and forks. I'm going, "You got to be kidding me!" I got hands. I'm gonna just bring me a towel.
Bring me a couple more of these, will you? Could you bring me a couple of buns? Because I'm going to make a sandwich out of it.
Yeah.
All right, Cornish Nerd said, I tried putting Adware on a new machine as well. He just got a new machine on Tuesday. He's 3 days later, and he's still configuring it. He says, not had it for years, and I've already taken it off. Far too bloated, in my opinion. He said, the only plus I find with Adware is that actually sometimes, despite making the machine slow all the time, it does, in fact, find things I didn't know I had. And you're going to find that with all the different Adware programs out there. You're going to find one program will find this, another program will find that. But it doesn't mean you should have 20 of them installed on your PC. You got to pick which one do you think is the best? I like.
We should only have one.
Try it. Try Malwarebytes. And see, and you can be confused too, because like Malwarebytes to me it sounded to me like one of them fake ones originally. When I first heard it, I thought, oh, that sounds fake. There's another one on the market that's actually really good called Super Anti-Spyware. Now, if I told you that, you would say, and you didn't know, you would say, oh, that's malware. It's got to be malware. It's actually not. It's actually a very good, well-respected anti-spyware program.
Yeah, just the name makes you suspicious, but, again, that's why you got to do your research. You got to check around. Yeah, now, with the adware, if I can ask, and I'll switch back to the chat room so I can see, Cornish Nerd, when you talk about adware, you talk about the freebie or the paid version? Because sometimes, I agree, even the free adware can be a little sluggish.
Well, see, I downloaded the adware Pro version because you can do, a trial version of it, just like you do a trial version with most programs that are out there. But just remember, if you're done with the trial, pull it off of there. There's no reason to have it on there still. Go ahead and just remove them. But also, remember, especially if you're on a business computer and you have the ability to install programs, which I found on one of these cases, don't install every single program in the world just because it's out there. Think about really how is this impacting the business. When I mentioned ESET does have a trial. It's a 30-day trial. It's very good. But if you want to try it on every one of the computers in your home, download the executable and then put it aside because you only get one trial per email address. So just remember that. And then you can only put it on one computer one time for 30 days. After that, you're going to have to buy it.
And Cornish Nerd in the chat room, he said that, there was a freebie of adware that he tried. Now, I know I said, just because I don't want people to consider that I'm a hypocrite, I probably should clarify something in regards to me personally. In general, most people, 99.9% should only have one antivirus product on your computer. Now, I am guilty of putting multiples on my computer, but I'm willing to suffer the consequences. I, quote-unquote, think I know what I'm doing. So, hey, if I blow it up, it's on me because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't do something right.
Right.
My fault. So I just want to say that. Because they go, oh, you got multiple antiviruses on it, so that's okay to do? And I go, it's okay for me to do. Because, one, I'm willing to accept the consequences.
Right.
And two, I'm paying much more close attention to what's happening than you will want to.
Well, when you were at Microsoft doing tech support, did you find people would call you up that had installed multiple versions that were running into issues?
Oh, you have no idea.
Oh, I can imagine.
One of my favorite,
I can imagine.
I had two favorite things to do because I would look for a reasonable, quick solution. So I, try to get the customer to go, listen, and that's probably it. Don't want to waste your time. Thanks for giving us a call. But sometimes I would go, all right, I'm starting to smell things. I'm starting to there's something just as a smell right. And I go, all right, do me a favor. Do Control-Alt-Delete and tell me what's in the list. That list, I think, because we used to hold a contest of who could find the most. It wasn't me. I think somebody found 60, maybe 70, 75 items once.
Wow.
Yeah. And another thing I used to do, because one of the things I was concerned about what was loading at boot. All right.
Right.
So then the next thing, I would go, all right, depending on what was already loading at boot, I'd go, let's go and add or remove programs. I say quickly, if I'm looking for something particular, I go, just tell me the stuff that actually is a mail program or browser, antivirus, security. But sometimes I'd have to say, listen, I need to know everything in the list. Start at the top. And they would and I'd have to go back and I'd go, thank you very much. I appreciate the time. Let's take it from the top. Why do you have this installed? Why do you have that installed? Why is this installed? Are you using any of this?
Now, were you ever able to have them go to hijack this and get the I can't remember the name of the website. It's MeJinx or something like that. But get the hijack this program, run it, and send you the copy. Did you ever have that?
Sometimes. Yeah. At the time, we had some internal tools that we could use, but if we had to go to those tools, we would reschedule a call with them. There are some tools where we could actually log into the computer to maybe speed things up, but they'd have to give us permission.
Right.
There was also, we'd ask them to download something, run it. It would log a bunch of stuff and ask them to send us the log file. But most of the time when they called in, we try to do things on the phone, because if we had to go to the next level, we had to explain to them some things to cover Microsoft's butt. We had to say, listen, we need to go somewhere else with this. Here's what that means. We need to look at some other things. We need more time. This phone call that this quick fix you thought you were going to get, it's not going to happen. And there are other times where I was on a call. I remember being on one call with one customer for 3 days.
Oh, Lordy. So 8 to 5. You come in at 8, and that's your call.
Same customer for 3 days.
Wow.
Just to get it to try to get it to work. And most of the time, we're able to get some kind of a resolution, reasonable resolution. But it depends on the customer. That's where it lands on the customer.
Yeah.
How much? If I think it's going to go beyond 15 minutes on the call, I have to start asking, well, how much time do you have today? Because I need to know. Because I don't want you I don't want you mad at me, and you're already going to be mad at me when I tell you we're going to need more time. You're already going to be mad. I'm just going to have to accept that.
Yeah. Well, I've had people ask me, it's like, when it comes to locking down their systems so their kids don't download stuff they're not supposed to, or, don't go crazy on it. How do you do that? Going in and the days of when you were at, Microsoft doing tech support, it's a lot easier than it was then. I mean, so that had to be something you guys had to deal with on a regular basis. Oh, my kids did this, or my kids installed this, and then at what point do you say, well, sorry, you're gonna have to reinstall it?
Yeah. There was a guy. This wasn't a family issue call, but the guy said, we talked, and I explained to him. I said, I'm not sure where this is going to go. I said, I need to know where my limits are. I mean, do you want to do everything as possible before we do a new installation of the operating system? The man said yes. It took us all day, as I remember, and I kept reminding him. I said, this is what you said you wanted to do. So we are trying everything imaginable before I have nothing left. But either to, we reschedule for some other time where it's just you and me or somebody else, or we wipe the drive. And it took all day, and we wound up wiping the drive. And I had to remind him, I said, this is what you said you were willing to go to. Yeah. Sometimes it takes all day or days.
Right.
Now, what in the case of like a family type situation, I have to remind people where their responsibilities are. Not only in regards to Microsoft or whoever or me, but also them. This is your computer. You're responsible for it. You let your kids or your uncle or your cousin or whoever use it. That's, it's like you letting them drive your car. If they crash it, who's at fault?
Right.
So, they said, yeah, but I want to let them use the computer. And I go, I understand that. But I'm honest with you. I don't let my mother use my computer. I don't let my children I use my computer. No one uses, if I want them to be able to use it, I'll get them another computer. Yeah. They don't touch my computer.
Yeah, I gave the girls a computer they can use. And, it was a little frustrating because I told them, I said, listen, I want you to be able to run your programs and install your programs when you want. I said, however, here's the rules. No LimeWire, no BearShare, no file sharing at all. And, a couple of times I found stuff on there. But, then it was always, well, they did it. Or they did it. Or they did it. So it's one of those things that, you open these things up. Here's why you don't have a computer for 2 weeks, because I don't have time to do it right now. So.
To try to make my life easier, I tried to play hardball with my family. I told them, I said, I'm not fixing anything. I'm erasing the drive. So if you want to save stuff, copy it off, back it up. Because if I have to come in and fix it, here's my fix. I'm killing everything. Now, that sets expectation. That was a big thing about service at Microsoft. We set expectations, so they can't come back and say, well, you didn't tell me that.
Right.
In rare cases where they said you didn't tell me that, I can respond, I had no idea it was going to happen that way. None. There was nothing that led me to believe that.
Well, it's like this laptop, Slick, the one that was brought over to me. They actually said to me, if you need to reinstall everything, we can't remember the password, so don't worry about it. We don't need anything on there, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, are you sure about that? And they said, yeah, no, I don't think we need anything. And as soon as they say that word think, I don't think we need anything, that's when they're really not sure. That's when they realize, when you give them the computer back, oh, the pictures of the kids are on there. Or that my tax documents for the last 5 years. So being that aside, and the only way we could get this so that we could get back into the system was to pull the hard drive, connect it, get the data off there that I knew that they're going to end up wanting, which they did. Because I said, we were able to save a few folders of photos, and then there's some documents on there as well. And he goes, oh, great. We probably would have missed those. So, again, it's as soon as they say, oh, I think, that they have to understand there's no going back. That's it. If we delete, if we reformat, there's really, yes, we might be able to get some of it back, but then it gets very pricey. So
yeah, when it comes to business and customer service and tech support, that's where documenting things have just, it's got to be done. It's got to be done with your mechanic. It's got to be done with your doctor. It's got to be done with what you call for computer or help with your computer. Because you go, well, I didn't want that to happen. I've got it in writing. I've got it in the date and the time and exact phrase. That was the exact phrasing that we used between the two of us. Here's the agreement. Our agreement was this, and you said yes. Yeah, but I didn't mean it.
I didn't know what you meant. You were talking all techie.
I said, no, I've got the phrasing right down here. And I asked you 3 times.
Right.
Do you understand what the consequences could be? Yeah.
I don't know what you see on your ad on our page if you're looking at techtalkradio.com/live. But I think it's funny because what we're talking about is, downloading games and everything else. If you click, I see a woman who's wearing a bra which is made of soccer balls. How did it find out that I got the Girls of Tucson website?
Anything you put out on the internet, Andy. Anything you put out on the net.
So I don't know if you see that as well. You might have a different ad based on where you're at. But here we are talking about, hey, be careful what you download and everything else. So the question was posed to me, is there anywhere to get free games on the web?
Yes.
Where do you go?
Well, in general, you can do a search for free games. There is something that I've been using.
No, back up. See, when people start searching for the term free games, that's when they're going to walk right into a website that is ready to just steal their passwords and do damage and take their children and color their hair. I mean,
buyer beware. They said free. I mean, it's you got to accept responsibility for what you do on the internet. We can't hold your hand all the time.
Yeah, that's true. That Wild Tangent was the one that was started by St. John, the guy who started ActiveX and DirectX. And I believe they have some games on there that you can play if you want to do that.
They do. Now, I do want to say be careful about Wild Tangent only because I've had some experience in the past as working for Microsoft where Wild Tangent was installed without being, the owner of the computer didn't intentionally want to install Wild Tangent. It came in with some other stuff.
Right.
And it took me a while to find out what it was. Now, there were times where Wild Tangent was fine. It was just what it was. It was a game or whatever. And there are other times where it came in and it wasn't supposed to be there, but it came in anyway and it got in the way of stuff. So my personal experience with Wild Tangent is kind of 50-50. It's sketchy. There is something
How about PopCap, though?
Never heard of it.
PopCap games are the same people who make one of the most addictive PC games that are out there called Plants vs. Zombies. And
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, a very addictive game. Now they're actually selling it in retail. It became so popular online that you could go online and get like a 3-user version and then, a 3-level version, and then if you wanted more, you paid $20 or whatever, and you got the game. A lot of the game designers will do that. The other way is to go to an actual game designer website, like go to EA, go to Blizzard, and then you can find demos there and whatnot to play games. But full games, remember, people need to get paid to do them. So unless they tell you, yeah, go ahead and here's our ad in the game, be prepared to spend a few bucks.
Yeah, one of the things I've been using that there are some clunkers on it, but there's a website called giveawayoftheday.com. I mean, and I check it every day because there's usually some free software on there. Now they've got an offshoot from it. It may even have its own web address, different web address, like free game of the day or something like that. But if you go to giveawayoftheday.com, look around. They usually try to give away a free game a day, or at least through the giveawayoftheday.com website, they will try to give away a free game every week or every other week. I've used some of the software on giveawayoftheday.com. So, like I said, some of it's pretty good. Some of it's a little, it'll be really glitchy, really weird. I can get it on one Windows Vista computer and it'll work fine.
Right.
I put it on this one and it just sticks, and I just take it off. I have to take it off, and then sometimes it seems like everything comes off. So use at your own risk. I'm just saying I use the website and the software and services because I like it. It's me.
All right, let me show you, and to get into this segment, I think you'll like this. Just to say, because we're talking games, if you want to have fun, I know there are some websites. Flash Games was just mentioned in the chat room. I think Babs mentioned that one. That one's pretty cool. But if you want to play games such as, and don't worry about, USS Rover agreed with you, because, I mentioned Wild Tangent. He said, Slick, I delete Wild Tangent, period. And then I put ouch, and he said, sorry. Don't be sorry. That's the kind of stuff that makes the show. What's that?
Yeah. I do, too, because of past experience. I am not prepared to say it's all bad, though. I'm not prepared to say that.
Right. Well, what a lot of the kids are doing nowadays is they're playing the games on the cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing it that way.
It's all about the cell phones for the children, for the kids, for the young men, young people.
See, we can't do that because our eyes are so bad. We have to we have to hold it up to here, and then you crash the car.
That's why they created tablets, thankfully, but they still don't make the print big enough. The little the size of the letters.
As they get older, the tablets are going to have to get bigger.
And they are. Have you noticed that? I guess the average tablet size was 7, but now they're starting to come out with 10 inches.
Oh yeah, then they'll need 12 inches.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So I got to show you this. We just got this in. I want to welcome Scarlett. Scarlett, my daughter, is going to be doing, and Raven is still participating. Raven does some reviews on games and fun stuff and places to go. But Scarlett's going to start blogging, and this is going to be one of her first projects. Something new. This is Super Mario All-Stars, the 25th anniversary edition from Nintendo. And it gives you the ability to play some of the Super Mario games that we remember. And I say we for all those over the age of 30. Super Mario 1, Super Mario 2, Super Mario 3, and Super Mario 4. All of the fun Super Mario games now on the Wii. And I believe this even has, and I should probably take a look for her. Let me see. I think it even has a controller in it. I'm not sure. But the price for the game is $39, and this is the special anniversary edition for it. Let me see. No, it doesn't have that, but it does have 2 games inside. And Scarlett's pretty good, so I think she'll give it a shot. But not only does it have the games, but it has this special commemorative CD, which has all the music of all the games.
And yeah!
Is that cool? So we'll probably be working that into the show at some point. But also has a DVD history of Nintendo and Super Mario. So, that's pretty neat stuff, huh?
I would love to watch that one day.
Yeah, definitely. We'll make sure you get a chance to do that. As soon as she gets her review, she's going to start looking at it this week. So, got to hook up the Wii again, and that'll be kind of her first project.
Okay, bring out the video cam. We need video.
For Tech Talk Radio. Yes. Anyway, so pretty neat. I don't know. She's excited about that.
It's nice. It's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, she's been playing COD Black Ops until she burned out the Xbox 360. I'm serious. She'd be playing that honestly hours. And we even did the GPU fix and everything on it, and it would be working for 3-4 days, and then boom, go out again. So
is the Xbox 360 dead?
No, I just got to pull the GPU again. Re-put the heatsink grease, tighten it up again, try it again. I think I'm just going to end up going and buying another one once I can afford it. So, and get one with, get one with a little hard drive on it too. So, because it doesn't have that. This was the arcade version we had, and then we'll see. Maybe put that one in the bedroom because I don't tax it as much, but I like the ability to be able to go live on the live and maybe even Netflix. Although I'm downloading Netflix movies through that Sony BD player, which is nice. Have you gone and looked at that yet?
No, I don't get out much, if at all, ever.
Oh, dude, It's great. It's a great entertainment tool for $94. You can find it at Walmart. You can probably find it cheaper elsewhere. Has BD Live, internet connectivity, the ability to watch content on. Gloria was watching Dr. Oz the other day, and has Epicurious recipes on there. It's a lot of content on it. And then if you have a Netflix account, you can download movies. I think I might stick with it and pay the $7 a month because we find movies on there. We watched Crank 2 at least the first 30 minutes before we couldn't stand it anymore.
Crank 2. Let me see. Let me think. That was with the electricity?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one where he has to keep his heart charged with electricity. And it's just
I actually
over
did
the
try
top.
Yeah, I tried to watch some of that when it was on one of the satellite cable channels.
Yeah.
And it was okay. I like action movies, but some of them are like action. What? Hey, how about some story?
I like here's my
little storyline in there.
I like action. I don't like torture. There was a scene where they're cutting a guy's arm off, and I was like, let's change it. So we changed it. We watched The Notebook. No, I'm kidding.
What is this movie about?
What, The Notebook?
Yeah,
You've never seen it?
I hear a lot of women forcing men to watch this thing, and men, off to the side going, "Yeah, it was actually pretty good," but.
It's a love story over the years, and it's this couple, and they just never really got a chance, and then it's a story being told, and then in later years you find out that the young girl in the story is now got Alzheimer's. Brilliant job in the acting there. And then the guy that's watching over her is telling the story, and you don't know who he is in the story, which guy he is. And then, it's like I don't want to I'll give away the end of the movie. Everybody's seen it now. At the end of the movie, he ends up getting her to try and remember their wonderful love affair, and he's telling her the story. That's The Notebook. Yeah, I thought you would have gotten to see it because you thought it would be about a Satellite Pro or a Compaq or an HP.
Yeah, I've been holding up. I mean, it's become available, but something else has come up, and I'm like, I'm not going to watch it. I'll catch it eventually. And just based on comments I've heard about the movie, I'm like, it's nothing that I'm going to miss if I don't ever get to see it anyway.
It's like one of those nice stories. It's definitely. And you know what I told Gloria? I said when we saw the movie in a theater. And I remember telling her, well, at least there was an explosion. There's one explosion in the movie. So I thought, okay, there's something for me. There's an explosion. It's about
Is it anything like Fried Green Tomatoes?
It's better than Fried Green Tomatoes.
Okay.
I like that movie.
Fried Tomatoes, I can't say it's a bad movie. It's above average for me.
Right.
Which is really saying something. I'm just saying I wouldn't intentionally watch it, but I happen to watch it. And I can't say it's a bad movie. I go, it's pretty good. But I don't know if I'd ever watch it again. It's been available. I just haven't really intentionally turned it on.
Did you ever see Driving Miss Daisy?
I did see that. Now, I like that.
Yeah.
I like the relationship between the two and all, really.
Yeah.
That's a good relationship movie.
Yeah, I did like that one.
So I don't consider that a chick flick or anything. I think that's, the relationship between people as they go from, this age to that age.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd in that one, too. I like Dan Aykroyd. So that was a pretty good film. Anyway, so we did that. And then the new thing I'm into now is Idiot Abroad. And I think we talked about that a little last week. So
yes, you did.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it. I think they're doing, I guess there's like 5, I'm assuming there's like 5 episodes out already because I noticed on one of the schedules that they're running them back to back to back. So
yeah, they're doing the same thing with Pawn Stars. And I was just told the Kardashians on E! $65 million is what they've made since the show came on the air. $65 million. The guys from Pawn Stars, I think, are at $90 million.
Yeah, I've seen some of it. I think Pawn Stars is more interesting to me. But then again, you kind of are like most people, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm just saying you're like most people where you're into pop culture. I don't mind pop culture, but I'm not going to follow it. For me, it's not a comic book.
Yeah.
I'll follow comic books or cartoon, but I'm not following Bieber and all that stuff.
Big, oh gosh, they're making another TV series, Stretched American Steel. That's the guy who has the big long trucks. You know the guy? He's here in town.
So this is going to be different than Pimp My Truck or whatever it was?
Probably. He only has 2 trucks from what I understand. But
you know what? I've seen the website. I know who you're talking about.
Kevin, I think is his name. I've been Keith. Keith is. I knew began with a K. At least I didn't call him Carla. But he's the one. Yeah, he has this huge truck. I've been in it. It's actually kind of cool. Yeah, but and then I heard word this week that my show isn't completely shelved. They finished editing. They got preliminary edits done, enough to take it and start showing it around. So we'll see what happens with that. Because I would like to make part of, maybe even half of what the Kardashians have made. Would that be great? Or even 10%?
You don't have one of them tapes out. At least you don't have a tape out that we've released yet. Let's put it.
No, it hasn't been released yet. I figure once the show hits, somebody will release it.
Well, if the check bounces, of course I am going to release it. Absolutely.
Damn. Oh boy. I'm going to shred you. Oh boy.
Shred. What does that mean?
I don't know. It's just fun. The only picture I have on here, I can throw that picture up of a shredder and just put you up there. There you go. There's Slick. It's being shredded. By the time it hits you, it'll probably be long gone. Oh, boy. All right, so I got to say hi to everybody in the chat room today. Thanks for coming in. Let's see. You've got Babs, Cubs fan, Mule Dog, Randy, Ray, Raven Cure, thank you, USS Rover, as well as Gandalf, Cornish Nerd, CC Mike, Tech Talk Radio, that's me, Slick, and I know Amalhi was in here, but he was calling himself something else, and then he left.
Well, yeah, he came in and he kept changing from his name to undefined, whatever, and then came back and I don't know what was going on with that.
Yeah. And then he was plugging Steve's show, which I got to add. Did you do Steve's show this week?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did you use the MiFi for that one?
No, I had problems right within it because that was the problem. I figured that's where I would test it, using Steve as a guinea pig, and plugged it in, and then had I just disconnected from internet service in general, turned this on, connected to it, had a fully charged battery, then yeah, it probably would have been fine. Which is what, I tried to do again this morning, but I couldn't. I tried to use an external charger, which I believe I'm going to find later, the battery's not fully charged. I have to use either the AC charger that came with it or the cord connected to a computer to fully charge the battery. Because that was my fear. If we did the show today and I didn't have a fully charged battery, I was very afraid that we'll be halfway through the show or a quarter through the show and gone.
Yeah.
I didn't want that to happen.
Okay. I was just wondering if the video would look better. But I don't think it's a video. I think it's your camera. We got to get you a new camera.
Yeah, I'm sure. Right now, I'm sure it's the camera. Right now, I'm sure it's the camera.
Yeah.
Hey, well, since we're coming to the end of the program.
Yes, sir.
And I don't want to bring the room down, but I want to mention some things that happened this week that I think is important. I'm gonna try not to bring people down and make anybody sad or make you want to switch away. But I will say this before I start speaking here. Robert, if you are watching this, if you're in the chat room or whatever, please go away for a moment because I don't want to add on to what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you very much. So, what I'm getting to, everybody, is that a friend of mine, his father passed in the past week. And my friend and I had discussions before his father passed, and we've been having some discussions after his father passed. And this is what I want to get across to everyone. Because I've even talked to you mentioned Steve, I even talked to Steve about this outside of one of his shows, and we have some conversations about preparing for you or other family members because you just never know. Here's what I mean. Okay, do you know everything you need to know about your mom, your dad, your children? Do you have all of your affairs in order for them? And flip it. Do they know everything they need to know about you? And I mean everything. And think about it. And you should probably take it out. I'm serious. You should probably take a day and think about this. What happens if this person wasn't here anymore? What happens if you weren't here anymore? What about the executor? What about accounts, usernames, and passwords, email accounts, off-site storage, web storage? What about your Twitter account, your Facebook account? Because remember, we had these issues with Wally when Wally passed.
It's still a lot of that hasn't been taken care of. They're just still out there, and nobody's done anything with them.
Yeah, Wally, a member of our program, Tech Talk Radio, passed, and we assume that some his usernames and passwords weren't available for his family members to put messages on his accounts because sometimes people didn't know, and post things on other accounts. We've got other friends, professional friends, where their Facebook accounts are still active, and people are still posting on their account. They don't know that our friends have been gone for over a year.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that out there, and I'm talking. I mean, think wide. Bank accounts, electric service, real estate, vehicles, personal property, property within the house. Who gets what? Who do you want to have something? And consult a lawyer about it too. What do you need to know before you go? What do others need to know before they go? And one of the things we've started to experience is that some businesses or whatever, they have like policies. Like, you've got to get it done within 30, 60, or 90 days, or they will do whatever their default policy is. Whether it's close the account and keep whatever, or sell it, or get rid of it, storage units and stuff like that. Now, I'll probably do a blog post on this later, but as I was trying to do some research about this issue in general, I came across 3 services that I thought some people might be interested in, and they're web services. And in general, what they do is they will send out, if you don't check in with them at a certain amount of time. This is good, and I think these are probably good for people who don't have like close family members or close friends. If you don't log into a service or respond to a request for a password or whatever within a certain amount of time, they will send out messages automatically to whoever you set up email messages to. And they could be like the last letter you ever want to send out kind of stuff.
Wow.
Now, one of those services is called deathswitch.com. I know the name, but that's what they call it. It's called deathswitch.com. Another is called slightlymorbid.com, because it's a slightly morbid issue that we're discussing here. And another one is called Legacy Locker. And Legacy Locker, in general, is like a safe place where you can put passwords and files and all kinds of stuff. And should something happen, it automatically sends access to whoever you granted access to. It says, we haven't heard from Slick within the amount of time he set, so we assume something may have happened, and you've been his authorized representative, so here's what he wants you to have. So I just thought I'd mention that. Because, Steve, we were talking to Steve, he created something that, a notebook, an actual physical notebook with all of his usernames and passwords on it, that he's got stashed off into a corner for his wife to access at any time.
Right.
Should she feel the need. But, it's an agreement between them that, she won't look in it until, she's got to.
Here's the thing, too, is you want to remember probably to off-site storage that, or maybe even put it on a flash drive. Don't keep it on your computer that you use. I mean, this can happen, sadly, and I'm so sorry for his loss, but this could happen to pretty much anybody at any time. You could be on your way to work and, something tragic could happen, and we know it does. And, it could be on your computer, and somebody might not have access to your computer, or if it's on your computer in that time, who knows? Something tragic could happen there. So, something could, you have shock, you think the file's there, it's been deleted accidentally, and then nobody's ever get. So, put it on a USB drive, put it on a safe deposit box. Yeah. Give it to your other half if you have to. Tell her, here's the password for the file. Make it something they will totally understand, but make sure it's on there. Or don't password protect it if you have to. I'd say do it, because it's going to be all of your sensitive data,
Yeah. And then the USB flash drive is a great idea, because that was something else I read. They were saying, just make that USB drive and put it to, everybody knows where it's at. Everybody has agreed that they won't touch it unless they feel it's absolutely necessary, There was something else, too. Oh, the other thing I want to give you a heads up on is that what my friend is experiencing, which I thought, when I talked to him, I tried to help him prepare, because I kind of felt this was coming. And it almost seems like you can't prepare enough for these events, because he's taken off a week's worth of work, and he's going to have to take off the next week. I expected him to have to drive over and get it. He said there's so much, he's got to get so many copies of stuff and give to people and hand to people and stamp and have it, what's the thing you do where you have the person sign with the stamp on the paper?
Notary, yeah.
Notary. He's got to do, it's obscene. We never imagined he would have to do all of this. We knew he was going to have to do some work, but not all of this work. It's crazy.
Yeah. You have to do really the same thing for your kids. Have files for your kids, the same thing. And make sure you know what their Social Security numbers are. And all of that I mean, all of that data, we hate to think about it, but it's one of those things that the stuff you don't want to deal with when it happens, because then you would just want to grieve, just like, Robert's doing. You want to be able to just grieve, pull back, not have to worry about all the work that needs to be done. And I have a friend that actually works at funeral homes, and they have people who come in who buy their plots ahead of time, pick their caskets, and this is without them even being sick, so the family can do nothing but, tend to what they need to do and get everything done and then take care of all the paperwork that needs to be done. But yeah,
I'm just shocked because the fog descended. I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be sadness, it's going to be heartache and that kind of stuff. But there was this big fog that came down, and you're like trying to dig your way through it. It's, man, it's unexpected.
Yeah. And if you have, now here's the other thing too. If you don't feel, and this is a terrible thing to say, especially since Gloria just walked in the room, and if you are in a situation where maybe you don't feel everything is as solid as it should be. Now, this is different because I gave you everything, gave you the passwords. But if, I'm looking at Gloria saying that, but if it's in a situation where you don't feel 100% comfortable, retain an attorney and give that attorney all the documents. If you have a Swiss bank account, if you have overseas money, let them handle all of that. And that way, in the event of your demise, you have them go to that. I know it seems crazy, but there's a lot of situations out there where people look back now and they say, I wish I would have done it differently. Well, it's too late if it's already happened, and your kids are sitting there going, gee, Dad, why did stepmom get all the money? Or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a terrible thing.
Some things don't get changed and updated, absolutely.
It's like getting a prenup, It's like, wait a minute, if you have to get a prenup, do you trust them? But trust me, there's other forces in effect. So that's some of the things you have to think about. But,
so that's just me just trying to help.
Yeah. Well, anyway, please pass our condolences on. And, come on over here. USS Rover says hi. So I do want to say hi to the chatters. There you go. See? Oh, you can't see yourself.
Now can you see?
Now you can see you.
Two-headed Andy.
All right. Thank you. Enough of that sentimental stuff.
Oh, see, look at where it's going. Start recording, everybody. Start recording the video.
All right. Waka, waka. Boom chaka waka. Don't do that. Don't. Don't you dare walk over here.
All right, we're done with the tech talk. We're on to.
All right. Well, a great show today. I think we covered a lot of different topics. Now, next week, let me see. Next week we're doing 1 hour, right? And then the following week.
Next week's the 6th.
Yeah, next week, because I'm doing a casting in Chandler. I don't even know what it's for. I just getting a photographer this week, and so I'll have a headshot and I can take over with me.
I was going to say, take your thong.
Take my thong? Did you say take my thong?
Did you notice, everybody, he didn't deny that it exists?
I don't have one, number one.
Now he's saying it.
Yeah. No. So we'll do 1 hour next week from 11 to noon. Mm-hmm. And then, let's see, the following week you'll be out. So
yeah.
And then, let's see. I think that's all we have scheduled for the next couple of weeks. And then, are you going to do Steve's show this week?
I probably.
Yeah.
I probably will because I have an issue. I need to start an argument because there was something that was said about a particular subject, and it related to Windows. And not that they were wrong, but I feel the need to get in on this conversation because I actually did support Windows officially for Microsoft, so I know what the license agreements and the terms of service are, and I feel the need to strongly clarify some things.
We just brought up a great question. Maybe you can answer one for me.
Okay.
My client that decided to upgrade to OEM of Windows 7 Home Professional, we went out and bought the OEM version of it. Not the upgrade either, just a full version. So we upgraded him, but he still has a license for Vista, doesn't he? Because we didn't buy the upgrade version. We bought a full OEM version.
That is correct.
So does that mean he can use that license for Vista somewhere else? Or is that license regulated to use only on that HP machine?
Okay, yeah, that depends. Now, here, I try to make this real simple for people. It can get a little hairy if we want to make it hairy, and this is the way Microsoft looks at it too. To try to keep it simple, think of it this way. If the computer came with an installed operating system or an operating system was provided with it and is considered an OEM, that operating system is supposed to be used only with that hardware.
Uh-huh.
They're supposed to match up together. So whether you give it away or sell it or whatever, they go together.
Right.
If you get an OEM operating system from somewhere else and try to put it on something else, you're on your own. Don't ask for help.
You have to go to the person who installed it, right?
Huh?
You have to go to the person that installed it, like he'd have to call me.
Well, yeah, but let me give you an easy way to look at it. If you get an operating system from somewhere else and you don't buy it off of retail, you don't get it directly from Microsoft, Microsoft has no idea, really, honestly, no idea what's on that disk.
Right.
Because you didn't get it from Microsoft. Microsoft will either send it to you directly or, they put it on the shelf. That's what Microsoft controls. They don't control anything else at all. They don't control it. They hand it off, and other people are responsible for it. And as has happened and does happen, I have worked, we do what's called best effort, which means I'll do the best I can, and if you lose data, if your machine goes up in flames, that's on you. I've done best effort before where the operating system has been so modified. I don't know, the files and folders, they don't match up anymore. The operating system is doing things it never was intended to do. That's where the problem comes in.
Right. So I've always had the feeling, Slick, that rather than do an upgrade, which means you have to have the original installed and you do an upgrade, I've always had the feeling you are better off a fresh install. And that's why we bought memory to match for the OEM agreement, and we went ahead and got the actual full disk and everything else. They have Vista installed on a machine, which is on this HP machine on that special partition, which we ended up taking off. We ended up reformatting and partitioning the drive because we didn't want them going backwards.
Right. Let me use you as an example in regards to OEM. Now, there's OEMs, original equipment manufacturers. Generally, when it started out, it was like the HPs, the Dells, the Gateways, that kind of stuff. Okay. Andy can also be considered an OEM. He can also purchase operating systems directly from Microsoft, but it's under an OEM status, meaning Microsoft sent the regular old basic retail copy version of Windows. They sold it to Andy.
Right.
But Andy is responsible for it.
Right. So okay. if tech support comes up, he calls me.
Yep.
Not Microsoft.
Right.
And then I get
there's probably no changes to it. Probably works the same way all the rest of the retail stuff does. But we can't, after we've handed it off, we go, it's out of our hands now.
Right. That makes sense.
So does that answer your question?
It answers my question. Thank you, Slick.
Okay.
Right.
You just got to be careful with it. Just got to be careful because there was a conversation about transferring of licenses. Oh, I can't give this. I can't give the computer. You have to sell that, and Microsoft, you have to pay for another license. They don't try to make it all that difficult. No. They try to make it reasonable.
If you've ever had a problem with, and many people were frightened at the new licensing scheme that Microsoft is using, if you've ever had to reinstall the operating system, say your system you had was inferior, maybe it was, wasn't the fastest processor, it wasn't the best motherboard, it wasn't the best memory, so you decide, I'm plunking down the money, I'm going and I'm getting myself, I'm getting myself a new motherboard, I'm getting myself a new processor, I'm getting a new memory. But I don't want to go out and have to buy Windows 7 all over again. So I've gotten rid of that other computer, I've taken the hard drive out of it, there's no more Windows, it's, I'm sticking to the license here. Now I want to install that Windows 7. If it wasn't an OEM, and maybe it was it's an OEM software, and I have the software disk. Maybe it came that way because, you buy a custom computer, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the disk. You can install that. And if you have a problem, you can call Microsoft, explain to them what you're doing, just making that phone call, and they'll give you the code to install it on the other computer. They'll ask you, how many installs is this on? Just install it on the other one.
Yeah, and it happens to everybody. It's happened to me. I've gotten my operating system for free directly from Microsoft, and in some cases I've been a Microsoft employee. In other cases I have not been. And it'll ask. The operating system does what it does. It goes something doesn't look as it was before. You need to call in and get a code. I call in to get a code. Of course, when I called in, I wasn't talking to anybody in America. So, the question comes up. It goes, all right, so where did you get the operating system? I got it from Microsoft. Yeah, but did you buy it? No, I did not. So you didn't get it from Microsoft. No, I did get it from Microsoft. You gave it to me. It was a courtesy. But, okay, well, I can't give you a code. Why? Because you didn't get it from Microsoft? No, because you didn't pay for it. You don't understand. I didn't pay for it. You gave it to me for free as a courtesy. It was a gift. So I still have to come to you to get the code. And then I even try to explain to him, look, I've been in the chair that you're sitting in. I know the procedure. I know the screens you're looking at. Mm-hmm. Check with whoever you need to check with. It's okay to give me a code. I'll wait.
Yeah.
You just don't understand what's going on. And they still never understand what's going on. And it took a while for them to give me the code which I deserved.
I've had no problem with Adobe. I've had to install stuff. And it's the same thing. I just tell them, no, I'm just reinstalling. And it works out that way. But you got to have the disk. So they can even tell you how many times you've reinstalled that disk. That happened one time. And he says, you've installed this quite often. Actually, he said it like this. As we look at this, we can see you've installed this quite often. Why have you installed it in so many machines? And I told,
your response was?
Yeah. Well, I test out a lot of machines, and, I build a lot of computers, and then, I take that stuff out and I move to the next one. Or I keep spilling soda all over them. I don't find that funny, sir.
Oh, man. So,
hello, this is Gupta.
Oh, you know what? This doesn't only apply to operating system. It can apply to any software, really.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and it's happened in rare cases, an operating system has been tweaked for a motherboard.
Yes.
So it works with that motherboard. You take that operating system, you try to install it on a different computer, and there's problems. It's because it was matched to the hardware.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And they've gotten a lot better at that. Much better at that now. And you install something and then you find out, oh, wait, no, it's tied to that hard drive or it's tied to that video card. One little change can trigger. You could be working on your computer and you decide, oh, I'm going to go out and get a better, graphics card. What did you just spill over? All
soda?
Threads? Oh, all Gloria's threads, her notions.
I
better,
symbols and all that?
I better wrap it up and help her pick up her threads.
I should give you that look, like you just going to sit there?
Yeah, I better help her. All right. Well, that wraps it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out Tech Talk Radio. We'll be back next week and maybe even during the week when we get a chance, if we get some time, for more tips and tricks and all that other fun stuff. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Slick.